Now at 9, voters in Missouri and Kansas made their choices at the polls. We have the latest results.
House Speaker Nancy Pelosi is in Taiwan, defying China's warnings to stay away. I'm Lauren Blanchard in Washington with a look at her historic trip.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Thank you for joining us tonight. I'm Jordan Abbey. You've cast your votes. Now the numbers are coming in. We have results from today's primaries in Missouri and Kansas. We start with the Value Them Both amendment in Kansas. It would allow lawmakers to put tighter restrictions on abortions in the state. Still a lot of votes to be counted, but this issue is currently being rejected. In Joplin, Proposition Public Safety would raise property taxes to boost funding for the police and fire departments. At this point, this issue is also being rejected by voters. Now, KOAM's Jalen Banks is live at the Jasper County Courthouse with more on reaction to the results so far. Jalen.
Well, Jordan, Joplin city officials are in hopes that the proposition will pass. If it is passed, it will add 22 officers to the police department, and it will also help in retention. It will also add a property tax to those of the city of Joplin to help pay for extra funding within the police department and within the fire department. We'll keep you updated as we await for the results. Reporting live, Jalen Banks, KOAM News.
All right, Jalen, thank you so much. 20 candidates competed for the Republican nomination in Missouri's U.S. Senate race. These are the top vote getters. Eric Schmidt is leading in this race. 11 candidates competed to be Missouri Democratic nominee for U.S. Senate. Again, we're just showing the top vote getters. The leader in this race, Trudy Valentine. A lot of Republicans are competing for 7th District congressional seat currently held by Billy Long. Eric Burleson is leading in this race. 3 Democrats are competing for their party's nomination in Missouri's 7th District. Kristen Radker-Schaeffler is leading this race. Over in Missouri's 4th District, 7 candidates competing for the Republican congressional nomination. Mark Alford is leading. Now, Derek Schmidt wins the Republican nomination for governor. He's going to face incumbent Laura Kelly in the general election. On the race for U.S. Senator from Kansas, Jerry Moran wins the Republican nomination. Taking a break now from tonight's election results. Meteorologist Doug Katie joining us now. Just no relief during the daytime.
No, not at all. We've been near 100 degrees over the past couple days. We did it again today. In fact, we passed 100 for the 17th time this summer. 101.76, nowhere near the record set back in 2011 of 110 degrees. But we need some rain. We got a little bit of relief over the weekend. Still a very severe drought across a good chunk of the region. Heat advisories in effect once again for us tomorrow. Pretty much the radar is clear, not a whole bunch going on, but look at our temps. We're still near 90 degrees at this point in time. Some rain in the forecast. We're going to look at that here in a bit.
Doug, thank you. The heat affecting not just those corn crops and the electric bill. A Webb City beekeeping family struggling with their honey production this summer. KOAM's Yana Hatala explains.
A Webb City beekeeping family is facing losses with their honey production due to the continuing heat. They only have a third of their production goal harvested.
We produced about 120 pounds of honey this summer, and then we should have probably had about 320 pounds.
Jordan Jones sold out with his summer harvest honey on the first day. His mother, Shauna Jones, also owns her own beehives. She's not happy about the summer heat either.
My hives aren't producing as much as what they have been in the past. This is the worst year we've had so far.
The heat and lack of rain is not promising for the fall harvest season. The family says that the lack of healthy flowers means they're feeding their bees a water-sugar mix.
We feed them, we can't harvest that honey because it's not pure honey.
Which makes the family lose money. This honey is used for the bees to feed them to survive the winter.
So this is their honey stores for the winter. Actually, they don't have too much of it ready. It's kind of hard to see. They have honey in there, but it's not fully capped.
Bees also need extra hydration, something the Jonases make sure they have plenty.
And you can also actually build bee waterers because people who have pools actually have a problem with bees coming to get the water for the pools. So if you make a hand or a small bee waterer, that's going to help out a lot with the bees.
In Webb City, Yana Haudala, KOAM News.
Jordan Jones says if they are able to do a fall harvest, that would happen right before the weather gets colder toward the end of September. Kansas Bureau of Investigation arrested a Topeka woman for a Neosho County homicide case. Authorities say 41-year-old Nicole Fox is a suspect in the death of 34-year-old Blake Pearson, also of Topeka. Last month, Pearson was found in an alley in Chanute with a gunshot wound, which he later died from. Fox was arrested yesterday over in Allen County. Formal charges have not yet been filed. Reaction pouring in after House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's arrival in Taiwan earlier today. She's joined by other lawmakers from her party to honor the U.S. commitment to Taiwan's democracy. Her trip receiving bipartisan support. However, China strongly condemning the trip, voicing its disapproval as well. Fox's Lauren Blanchard has a closer look from D.C.
Speaker Nancy Pelosi stepped off her plane and into history as the highest-ranking member of Congress to visit Taiwan in 25 years. But her visit to the island, which is claimed by China as its own, has worsened already tense relations with Beijing. Pelosi, a longtime critic of China, released an op-ed in the Washington Post, writing, "In the face of the Chinese Communist Party's accelerating aggression, our congressional delegation's visit should be seen as an unequivocal statement that America stands with Taiwan, our democratic partner, as it defends itself and its freedom." As the first images of Pelosi with Taiwanese leaders emerged and she was greeted by crowds outside her hotel, China announced they will carry out last-minute military operations and drills in the seas and air nearby Taiwan.
China has every right to defend its sovereignty and territorial integrity. We are fully justified to do what we must.
The U.S. maintains the speaker's visit does not change its one China policy, but it does support Taiwan's democratic efforts.
We will not engage in saber rattling. We will continue to operate in the seas and the skies of the Western Pacific as we have done for decades. We will keep doing what we are doing, which is supporting cross-strait peace and stability.
The speaker's visit has been met with bipartisan approval on Capitol Hill. She is traveling with a handful of Democratic representatives. No Republicans accepted her invitation. In Washington, Lauren Blanchard, Fox News.
KOAM News at 9 on Fox 14 takes this time now to honor another four-state hero. Paul Westerman served in the U.S. Navy from 1966 to 1967. He was stationed in Vietnam. And we are proud to thank and salute Paul Westerman. He's tonight's four-state hero. Doug Hedges next with a complete look at the forecast a bit later. A big name returns to the field at training camp for the Kansas City Chiefs. Going to have those details in sports. First, though, have a few more election results.
Well, of course, another hot one outside for us today. Temperatures above 100 degrees. 17th time we have done that this season, which is kind of crazy. Nice shot, Indigo Sky Casino and Resort. Of course, Indigo just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Heat advisories in effect once again tomorrow on the Kansas and the Missouri side. We'll see what Oklahoma issues in the morning. Due to temperatures at 100, heat indices a little bit higher than that. And we've been hot after a little bit of a relief over the weekend, near 100 yesterday, above 100 for us today. And we're still sitting upper 80s to near 90. It's 92 in Neodesha, it's 88 in Miami, 87 in Anderson. Stockton is sitting at 89 degrees. A little breezy at times for us today. South winds at about 10 to 20. They have diminished a little bit for us this evening, but we'll pick back up during the daytime hours tomorrow. 90 south winds. 5 to 10, humidity is at 52%. There's really nothing going on here. We had some isolated little thunderstorms off to our east earlier today. Those are gone. It's going to be nice and dry as we go through the overnight hours. We're still kind of dominated by this big dome of high pressure, but we get these little weak waves that rotate through. That's what we had over the weekend. We get another one tomorrow night into Thursday. That's good. We need some rain chances. Let's go hour by hour. I'm going to stop in the morning hours. Upper 70s to near 80. Quick warm up, mid 90s by noon. See some clouds increasing northern counties. By the afternoon, partly sunny, right around 100 degrees once again. 78 to start, 95 by noon. High temp 101, southerly winds 10 to 20. Look at this. Isolated thunderstorms popping up. Northern counties late in the afternoon. And then watch this. They start to kind of sink farther south. Here's about 10:30. They're very scattered, but then really kind of flare up after midnight. This is good news. We need some scattered showers, thunderstorms. Here's 5 a.m. on Thursday. We'll start the day with scattered showers and thunderstorms on Thursday, and then most of these are gone by the time we head into Thursday afternoon. High temps into the mid-90s, and then we drop back once again into the upper 70s by Friday morning. All right, rainfall, of course, it's scattered, so it's kind of hard to pinpoint, so we got to go on an average here. And I think on average, most of us are going to pick up a quarter upwards to a half an inch of rain, which would definitely be nice. All right, 101 tomorrow. We're going to make it an alert day. Rain chances increase, so we're looking at 9 p.m. until about 9 a.m. Thursday. And you can see our best chances for rain occurs between that 2 a.m. and 4 a.m. slot, which we definitely need. 96 on Thursday, 98 Friday, and then we kind of hang out right around 100 degrees heading into the weekend.
Dinner time tonight. I was just saying to the family, I'm just done. Just totally done with this heat.
Well, not yet. You got another month to go.
I know.
So, yeah.
Oh, all right, we'll see you in a little bit. Thanks so much, Doug. Coming up, a last-minute push in D.C.
With August recess quickly approaching, the Senate is working furiously to pass some key legislative measures. I'm Mallory Rivera in Washington with more on what's on their agenda. Coming up.
Maker of health and refreshment products is recalling dozens of its brands. Lyons Magnus makes milks, shakes, coffees, and nutritional products. The company is recalling 53 of its brands for possible microbial contamination. Affected brand names include Oatly Barista Oat Milk, some Premier Protein Shakes, Glucerna, and MRE Protein Shakes. Recall dates run from November of 2022 to September of 2023. High inflation causing more families to use dollar stores more often to save money on, especially on those essentials. Analytics firm InMarket saying families are relying on dollar stores more for items like shampoo, conditioner, canned chicken, veggies, peanut butter, eggs, milk, produce. Grocery spending at discount stores increased 71% from October 2021 to June of this year. All right, Senate in a race to the finish line ahead of August recess. Democrats are hoping to pass a climate and health care spending package while veterans protest for a vote on a bill to help veterans exposed to toxic burn pits. Fox News correspondent Madeline Rivera reports from Washington.
With just days to go before August recess, the Senate is working in overdrive, intent on scoring a few legislative wins before the midterms kick into high gear. Top of mind for Democrats is their reconciliation package. All eyes are on Senator Kyrsten Sinema to see whether she'll give the bill a green light.
This is not a green deal. This is a red, white, and blue deal.
Senator Joe Manchin, who worked on the agreement with Senate Majority Leader Chuck Schumer, says it includes more than $400 billion in energy and climate investments. The bill, they say, is fully paid for by closing tax loopholes on wealthy people and corporations. But an analysis from the Nonpartisan Joint Committee on Taxation shows the legislation would violate President Biden's pledge to not raise taxes on Americans making less than $400,000 a year.
I am skeptical of the deal, and I have talked with him.
The White House argues the analysis leaves out health and clean energy tax cuts. Schumer maintaining the bill
does not increase any taxes for small businesses and families making under $400,000 a year.
As Democrats try to round up the votes, veterans are rallying on Capitol Hill. They're pushing for Congress to advance a bill that would expand medical coverage for those who were exposed to toxic burn pits. The legislation stalled in the Senate.
They're playing politics with human lives. That's not right.
A spokesperson for Sinema says the senator is waiting for a review from the Senate parliamentarian's office before she makes a decision on the reconciliation bill. But a no vote from her could tank the entire deal. In Washington, Mallory Rivera, Fox News.
Still ahead, we're learning more about a successful U.S. mission.
The leader of al-Qaeda has been killed in a U.S. drone strike after decades of attacking Americans around the world. I'm Trey Yingst in Jerusalem. I've got the details coming up.
Biden administration has named an official coordinator for the federal response to the monkeypox outbreak. Robert Fenton, who ran the COVID vaccination effort for FEMA, is going to head the response. In just 10 weeks, the U.S. outbreak has grown to at least 5,800 confirmed cases. We're learning more about the U.S. drone strike that killed Ayman al-Zawahiri, the leader of al-Qaeda and one of the masterminds behind the 9/11 attacks. Fox News correspondent Trey Yanks has more from Jerusalem.
We have eliminated the emir of al-Qaeda.
After years of surveillance and months of planning, the U.S. took out the head of al-Qaeda in a weekend strike. Ayman al-Zawahiri was put in charge of the terror network after the death of Osama bin Laden. He was bin Laden's right-hand man for years and played a major role in planning the 9/11 attacks. After the Taliban retook Afghanistan, he returned to Kabul, where a CIA drone strike killed him on the balcony of a safe house.
I don't think that al-Qaeda can look at what happened over the last 48 hours and feel like Afghanistan is going to be much of a safe haven for them.
The White House says this is a classic example of what they call over-the-horizon counterterrorism. U.S. intelligence tracked Zawahiri's family members to Kabul, where he reunited with them. They spent months studying his patterns and even built a replica of the house he was staying at. And with al-Qaeda now splintered and a shadow of its former self, some experts are saying it could be years before they regroup.
It will be very difficult for the organization to renew itself, to name a new leader that can be consensually accepted by all the organization's followers.
But Republican lawmakers are also criticizing the Biden administration, claiming the Taliban violated a pledge not to shelter terrorists. And this likely won't be the last airstrike needed.
The Taliban are the rock stars of the jihadi world with all the powers of a military and a state. And while on the one hand this should be celebrated, on the other hand we should all be ringing the alarm bells.
The White House says Zawahiri was the only person killed in the drone strike. In Jerusalem, Trey Yanks, Fox News.
Something is happening on a Galapagos island, the first since the 1800s. More on this next. Type of lizard not seen for decades in an Ecuadorian region, giving hope to conservationists. Iguanas are naturally producing in the Galapagos Islands for the first time since the late 1800s. Species of land iguanas are reproducing on Santiago Island specifically. Now, reintroduction efforts began just 3 years ago as we saw someone letting out those iguanas. More than 3,000 of them were brought back. Experts weighed and measured some of them before marking newborns. Iguanas, turtles, birds, and other species were decimated when humans brought other animals there. So, good to see things are turning around, right? One place I'd like to go someday. All right, 30 more minutes, news, weather, and sports coming away. How the expiration of a federal free school meals program is impacting a local district.
Subtitles aren't just for the TV. I'm Jackie Abanez with a look at the revolutionary glasses, letting the deaf see conversations in real time. That and much more straight ahead.
All right, we have a couple of updates on tonight's election results. People at Carthage voted on an $18 million school bond for a performing arts center. Majority of people supported that proposal, but it failed to get the 4/7 majority needed to pass, and that means the Carthage school bond proposal fails. An update also on Joplin's Proposition Public Safety, which would raise property taxes to boost funding for the police and fire departments. At this point, this proposal has failed in Jasper County. We are awaiting results from Newton County for the final results. Universal School Meals Program gave all students access to free meals at school. However, it's not being renewed for the upcoming school year. KOAM's Amber Jenkins talked to a parent in Pittsburgh.
Parents and kids are enjoying the last few weeks before school starts. However, budgeting for the school year without universal free meals is an added concern.
You have no time, so where I went from a full-time job, I'm lucky if I can get maybe a shift in. My husband works full-time and he makes, decent money, but it's the strain with the gas prices going up, that's been awful, and I commute all the way to Parsons.
With inflation driving costs up, the free school meals took one worry off of Lydia's mind.
Oh, it was so much easier when it was universal. We did before COVID and everything, and then I got the letter just actually last week saying that we were going to have to reapply, and so back again, I was like, oh no, okay, so let me do the math. Are we going to qualify?
The Universal Free School Meals program was enacted as a COVID relief program. Therefore, it needs to be renewed each school year.
And so it went before the federal Congress, and they did not renew the universal free lunch program, and so we're reverting back to the program like it was prior to COVID starting.
That means family like Lydia's have to apply to see if they qualify.
Now they're like, oh, well, you know, COVID's done, and so we should all get back to where we were. So you guys go right back into the slump you were in. And I think that's just so difficult for parents who are even in a, worse position than we are.
In Pittsburgh, Amber Jenkins, KOAM News.
Parents can find the application link for free or reduced school meals at our website, KOAMnewsnow.com. An aviation program taking flight at Wyandotte High School. The Chief Lifford Bearskin Aviation School is going to start this coming school year. Freshmen and sophomores are going to have the opportunity to take classes to get their personal pilot's license or branch out to different pathways, things like plane maintenance, safety and security, or drone piloting.
Essentially what a lot of these things are is they are hands-on, project-based learning opportunities, great opportunities for kids to, instead of just being told about things, to actually go and build those same things using the lens of aviation to understand the world that they're heading into.
The program and supplies are being funded by grants from Arise veterans, also the Aircraft Owners and Pilots Association. Joplin Police tonight met with residents as part of their National Night Out. It's a national event to raise community police awareness. Officers were at Schifferdecker Park, spit it out, Schifferdecker Park, an aquatic center holding K-9 demonstrations, also displaying emergency vehicles. Fun time tonight. Well, the New York Federal Reserve says consumer debt topped $16 trillion for the first time ever in the second quarter. It's a 2% increase over the previous quarter. Most of the increase was driven by a jump in mortgage borrowing. The New York Fed also said credit card balances increased by $46 billion last quarter. Credit card debt has jumped by $100 billion, or 13%, over the past year. That's the biggest percentage increase in more than 20 years. U.S. jobs market isn't as bold as it used to be. Bureau of Labor Statistics reporting the number of open positions fell to 10.7 million during the month of June. That's down from the 11.3 million vacancies in May, according to the latest job openings and labor turnover survey. Researchers say the sectors with the biggest decreases were in professional and business services, also manufacturing. All right, so being able to fully comprehend conversation is something many of us take for granted, but it's something people who are deaf and hard of hearing can have difficulty doing. Now, new technology is letting those with hearing impairments see conversations in real time. Fox News correspondent Jackie Ibanez has a special look.
Watching TV with the subtitles on can help us pay closer attention to the dialogue. And while it's helpful for most, it can be critical for people who are deaf and those with hearing loss. But now a new generation of smart glasses are taking subtitles off the screen and bringing them into the real world.
Alexa, what's the weather forecast?
Today's forecast is clouds and showers.
The technology called X-ray glass is able to convert conversations into text, which is then displayed in real time to the wearer on the lenses of their augmented reality glasses.
Look at this. She's naturally looking at me, but she's realising she doesn't have to look through me. She can just look through the glasses.
But that's not all. Officials say the software will soon be able to translate different languages, accents, pitch, and voice tones as well.
It's a big moment.
According to the World Federation of the Deaf, there are more than 70 million people who are deaf in the world. In the U.S., the National Institute on Deafness and Other Communication Disorders reports roughly 29 million adults could benefit from using a hearing aid. And while some can rely on reading lips, it can be tricky.
It enables me to be involved, it enables me to make decisions because I know what is being said.
Officials at X-Ray Glass are still refining the technology. The company is now looking for people with hearing loss who can't read lips or who have difficulty understanding multiple conversations at once to help them continue testing the product. Jackie Ibanez, Fox News.
A bit later, growing wildfires.
Thousands of people have been asked to leave their homes and 4 are dead as the McKinney fire continues to burn. I'm Max Gordon in Wairika, California. All of the latest coming up.
Well, of course, it turned out to be another hot one for us today. Temperatures above 100 degrees for the 17th time this summer, which stinks. And we're going to do it several more times as we go through the summer months. Indigo Sky Casino and Resort, of course, in Indigo, just outside of Seneca, Missouri. Heat advisories in effect once again. Kansas, Missouri, we'll see what Oklahoma does in the morning, but most likely additional advisories due to this near 100 yesterday into the triple digits for us today. It's still warm right now. Most of us upper 80s to lower 90s across the board. We'll drop back kind of in the upper 70s later on tonight. Kind of windy today. We had those southerly winds at about 10 to 20 gusts, 25 upwards of 30. They've come down just a bit over the past couple hours, but we'll crank up a little bit once again as we go into the daytime hours tomorrow. Currently outside, still 90. Still feels like 95. Humidity at 52%. Not a whole bunch going on here. You have to track a little bit farther east and south before you find anything. But you can see we are dry, and there's not a whole bunch going on across Central Plains. Had a few showers across southeastern Oklahoma earlier, but look at this spin. That's a big dome of high pressure, and that's kind of giving us the heat. That's been the trend all summer long, but we are getting these weak waves that kind of rotate in. That's what we did see over the weekend. We're going to see another one trying to rotate in tomorrow night, and then as we head into Thursday morning. All right, going through time, starting 78 to about 80. Partly cloudy skies, quick warm up, mid-90s by noon. I think most of us are going to top out right around 100 to 101 during the afternoon. 78 to start, 95 by noon, high of 101. Southerly winds, kind of breezy again, 10 to 20. Look at our northern counties, isolated late afternoon thunderstorms, kind of increasing a bit as we go through the evening hours. Very hit and miss. Here's 10:30. After midnight, they should expand a little bit. So we're going to get some scattered showers and thunderstorms in here after midnight into Thursday morning. Here's 5:30, and then most of these are going to push out of here 8, 9 a.m. on Thursday, and then hot, once again, mid-90s for highs. Rainfall, it's kind of hard to kind of nail it down because they are going to be scattered showers and thunderstorms. So we have to take an average here. I think on average, most of us will pick up a quarter to a half an inch of rain, which would be absolutely fantastic. And then we start to heat back up again, mid to upper 90s by the time we head into Friday, and then back to the triple digits again as we go into Saturday. Alert day tomorrow, 101, 96 Thursday, 98 on Friday, 99 Saturday, creeping back up, 101 Sunday, 102s Monday and Tuesday. And when we look through next week, it doesn't get much better, to be honest.
Yeah, you know, and that grass in particular could use some rain. You walk on the grass and it feels like
grass. I got dirt.
Yeah, you walk. Well, you walk on it, and it feels like you're walking on potato chips.
I know, it's bad.
It's crunchy. All right, Katie, thank you so much. And going from drought to heavy rain. The heavy rain that caused severe flooding in Kentucky has subsided for now, but a new weather threat, top concern for the communities trying to recover. Fox News correspondent Jeff Paul has more from Kentucky.
Folks in eastern Kentucky beginning the painstaking process of cleaning up after massive flooding ravaged several communities, and now they have a new concern: extreme heat.
It's going to get really, really hot.
Thousands are without power. That means no air conditioning as the mercury rises. Cooling centers have been set up, but officials warn people to be prepared and remain aware of the heat.
So with the heat coming up, we put out the call for cooling stations.
The historic flooding has claimed dozens of lives, and hundreds more are still unaccounted for. Crew are working to reach some of the people who have been cut off by the rising waters and mudslides.
Everything's destroyed. We've got nothing left.
Hundreds, like him, have lost everything. Their homes filled with water or floated off the foundation. Others looking at repairs to water-damaged houses. Several schools are no longer standing, delaying the start of the school year.
It is absolutely devastating out there. It's going to take years to rebuild, and we continue to find bodies of our brothers and sisters that we have lost.
Police are conducting wellness checks to try to locate those missing. Officials believe restored cell service will help reunite some of those unaccounted for with loved ones. Extreme heat is expected to remain in the area through Thursday. In Hazard, Kentucky, Jeff Paul, Fox News.
All right, some late-breaking news out of Kansas. Voters have officially rejected an amendment to the state constitution regarding abortion rights. It would allow lawmakers to put more restrictions in place. Coming up in sports, Orlando Brown Jr. returning to the practice field for the Kansas City Chiefs, plus a local 14 and under baseball team heading to Michigan this weekend, aiming for a spot in the Junior Little League World Series. Jacob Leonard has that and more next.
The Kansas City Chiefs are entering their second week of practice at training camp in St. Joe. Now, today, the Chiefs got a big name back on the field, with left tackle Orlando Brown Jr. reporting to camp and practicing for the first time this summer. Now, Brown will be playing under the franchise tag this season after he was unable to come to a long-term agreement with the Chiefs this offseason. And that means he's set to make about $16.6 million this year. Now, here's the three-time Pro Bowler on getting to St. Joe and returning to the team for the 2022 season.
I was excited to get out there and get some live reps, man. Obviously I've been doing a ton of stuff, training on my own and things like that, but it felt good, man, to get out there with the guys. I missed a lot of ball up until this point, and, obviously, man, I missed the locker room, I missed the coaches, everyone here in the building, and I know how important this 5-day stretch is to Coach Reed and everybody here at KC, man. So, I just didn't feel right sitting at home, missing out on this. This is something that, I want to be a part of, man. I was brought here to help win Super Bowls, and, this week is very important to our progression.
The Missouri Southern Lions are just 1 month away from their first game of the season. The Lions host Nebraska Kearney for their season opener on September 2nd. Now, Southern is coming off a 3-win season. It's their highest win total since 2014. One of the strongest groups back from last year, no doubt the linebacker group. That's a group that features Richard Jordan Jr. and a couple local guys in Colton Winder and Coleman Booker. And those guys have become more than just good players for Atiba Bradley and the Lions.
That core, that three, is at a point where they're not worried about scheme. They don't have to. They know the playbook now. So now it's a matter of helping others learn the playbook. They've been leading practices all summer. Basically my role in it is reserving the field for them. That's all the involvement that I have. And other than that, they call the plays, they make sure guys are out there at a certain time, they make sure guys are wearing a certain dress, and everything from A to Z they handle, and they just let me know what time they're going to be out there so I can reserve the field.
Well, Baxter Springs 14 and under baseball has a shot at the Junior Little League World Series. The team is headed to the Central Regional Tournament in Michigan, which begins on Saturday. Now, the team hit the field for practice tonight, and they'll practice once more tomorrow before they hit the road to Michigan on Thursday. Now, if they do go on to win this regional, Baxter Springs would advance to the Junior Little League World Series, which is also in Michigan on August 14th.
That'd be a dream come true for these kids, and just a good payoff for all of the hard work that they've done. And I know they're excited to represent the community. The community over the last few weeks since they've heard we're doing this has been nothing but supportive, and we're real blessed to be in the Baxter community.
Practice has been good. We've been trying pretty hard, working real good to get up there and represent Kansas and represent the town of Baxter Springs. And we're ready to go up there and play some good baseball.
And that's a look at sports. We're back with more news right after this.
Coalition of Women's Health Professionals has issued new guidelines to help prevent obesity in middle-aged women. The Women's Preventative Service Initiative is recommending that clinicians should counsel female patients between the ages of 40 to 60 about healthy eating, physical activity, even if they are not overweight. About 43% of American women in that age group are obese. Wildfire burning in Northern California continues to tear through the thousands of acres of land there. Many residents there waiting to find out what's exactly happened to their homes. Fox Weather's Max Gordon has more.
California's McKinney Fire leaving behind a trail of destruction in Klamath National Forest near the Oregon border.
We knew there was a fire, we just didn't think it would reach us.
Flames have scorched more than 56,000 acres, making it the state's largest wildfire this year. Firefighters have had their challenges facing steep terrain as the fire torched Northern California's drought-stricken forests. The flames moved quickly, forcing thousands from their homes.
If you're in an order area, it's really important that you're out of that area. It's an unsafe area. It's somewhere where it could be taken by fire very quickly.
The McKinney Fire broke out last Friday. Fire officials say it exploded in size. Dozens of homes, grocery stores, and other structures have been destroyed. Roger Derry lives in Siskiyou County, where he says the loss is extensive.
Completely took out all the houses downriver from here,
our 100-year-old homes. A lodge that was built in 1920, it's now gone.
The cause of the McKinney fire is still under investigation. Residents here say they've never seen anything like it.
I've been up here for 17, almost 18 years now, and we had might be evacuated once about 7 years ago, but we didn't have to go. This is my first time in my whole 73 years.
So far this year, wildfires have burned nearly 6 million acres nationwide. In Wairika, California, Max Gordon, Fox Weather.
All right, coming up, going to go backstage with the new movie Prey on Hulu. Predator franchise continuing this week with Prey streaming on Hulu. The movie sets the latest alien showdown back in time, taking the series in a new direction. Brings plenty of action and a story set in the Comanche Nation with great attention to detail on authentic representation. Here's Fox's Ashley Dvorkin.
I saw a sign in the sky. I'm ready.
Hulu's Prey is set in the Comanche Nation 300 years ago. A young warrior played by Amber Midthunder, out to prove herself, starts hunting the predator, leading to an action-packed showdown.
It was all very, very challenging. The mud pit was insane. The river was insane. The end fight.
Director Dan Trachtenberg reveals the film ties to the original.
There's a lot of spiritual connections to that film. There's a lot of literal connections to some entries into the Predator franchise.
Though it's not just for longtime fans.
Die-hard fans that know everything about the Predator movies to people who have never seen a Predator movie before.
Actor Dakota Beavers notes it's exciting taking the franchise in a new direction.
You could go endless different ways with different time periods and different predators.
Producer Jane Myers, a member of the Comanche Nation, shared some key aspects they focused on to bring authentic representation.
Language, the fact that, we have actual language, and then I was able to get other Comanche tribal members to help me with different aspects, like with song. We even have a camp crier call.
The cast is proud of this commitment.
That part of it meant everything in the world to me. I think it's really an incredible accomplishment to be able to find that, especially in a movie like this, that is like a fun, exciting action movie, to also have cultural representation and accuracy.
They took the film to the Comanche Nation for an early screening.
To have a positive response, that was when I breathed my first sigh of relief. Because that's who the movie is about. That's who it's for. I can kill it.
In Hollywood, Ashley Dvorkin, Fox News.
Yet another story for setting the stage for sweet dreams tonight, right? Huh? That's our time for tonight. Thanks for joining us. Hope you do have sweet dreams. Gonna leave you tonight with video of pandas celebrating their first birthday at a zoo in France. Be safe. Don't dream of prey or predator tonight. Do this all again tomorrow. See you then.